Hey guys, if you could do us a big favor before we launch into this, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, it really helps me produce these recipes. You'll actually see there's a little bell just in the corner there. If you could do us a big favor, hit that as well, and you'll get updates as soon as I launch a recipe, so you can be one of the first people to cook it. Thanks. Alrighty guys, welcome to the Pitmaster University channel again. I'm David Ong. Just wanted to show you guys today, a lot of people have been asking me about this pizza recipe. It's a Roman style pizza, and I just want to show you how easy it is to recreate. Now, by all means, I'm no expert in pizza. I've just really gotten into this, but even though in my novice stages, I can show you how to do this because I've had this recipe come out really, really good and just like the restaurants. And I'm even going to show you how I copycat a bit of the mushroom style toppings that I've got on it as well. So yeah, one thing to be mindful about is you guys really want to concentrate on getting the right flour for this. If you don't have the right flour, it's not going to work. And so the difficulty level for this, if you haven't done this sort of style of a pizza dough before, is probably about a 6 or a 7 out of 10. For those of you guys that have done this before, it's going to be really easy. If you haven't got a hand mixer, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but don't be put off because it's not that hard, and I'll show you on the video of me doing it without the without the mixer, and you'll just see how easy it is. It takes a little bit of work, but you guys can have some awesome results from it. And yeah, just a little bit of effort, putting some love into it, and you'll have an awesome killer pizza base and recipe. Cheers, we'll see you soon. Into the video, into making the pizzas now. Alrighty guys, here's the list of ingredients. Now, as always, I'm going to start writing it in the text description, the YouTube text description. That's what a mouthful at this time in the morning. Just so you guys can have a bit of a shopping list and make it easier to find what you're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to have a kilo of flour, like a really quite a high protein flour. And then I'm going to have 770 mils of water. Ideally, you want that cold. I'll talk about that a little bit more later. You want also have about, depending on the temperature of your fridge, I'll get into this more a little bit later, about 10 to 12 grams of yeast. You also want to have 20 grams of olive oil. And then also you want to have about 19 to 20 grams of sea salt. Now, ideally you want it to be sea salt, not table salt, not all these other salts, because it's got, they'll have some other impurities in it. Sea salt is ideal for this, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is I've got the yeast. Okay, so I'll put this in. Okay, so what you wanna do is just grab a bit of yeast, sort of work that in with your fingers. Now, you guys are gonna be used to putting this into warm water to activate the yeast. Ideally, you want it cold for this. So I've refrigerated the water overnight. Now I've actually used a special water for this purpose because I'd been reading up in Italy that the water there is quite hard. So I've gone out and bought a special water for the purpose. I haven't tried it against normal water, but you definitely don't want to be using tap water. You want to be using, if you can't get access to this, you want to be using water that's been pre-boiled, just so you get out some of the nasties out of it, but that'll also prevent the yeast from doing its thing. Okay, there's a little bit left. That water's really quite cold. Okay. Just mix that up nicely. Okay. Then what you want to do is grab that, we'll swap these around. Okay. Now you want to pour in about 2/3 of that water. Okay. So 2/3 of 770 mils. A little bit more. Okay. And what we're going to do is grab a wooden spoon and just mix that up. Some people like to use their hands at this stage. You're going to see me use the wooden spoon. So now I did this the first time all by hand, And I'm just showing you guys today that haven't got a mixer with a dough hook how to do this, because ideally if you're going to do it with a mixer of any sort, you want a proper dough hook. And you'll notice a massive difference with how it mixes if you've got the proper dough hook. Now this is quite a wet dough. You want, if you're doing percentages, it's 77% hydration. As far as the olive oil goes, you're looking at 1.9%, 2% olive oil, and same goes for the salt. Now for you guys, I've used fresh yeast. For you guys that have only got access to dry yeast, just make sure that it's not been sitting in the cupboard for a long time, because what you'll notice is sometimes that yeast will be dead and no good to you. So make sure that ideally it hasn't been sitting for too long if you're going to use instant dry yeast. But I'll give you the conversions later. Now, really good idea, guys, is to download an app which is called the PizzApp, and I'm going to refer to that a fair bit in future recipes that I do, and it just comes in handy. As you guys, this isn't like your stock standard dough recipe that you might see in New Idea or one of the magazines. It's very different. So I'm going to stop talking now because we're going to speed this up on the video just so you can see what we're looking for. Just had to stop the video for a second, guys. So slowly add in the water bit by bit. And then you want to keep mixing it. So what you'll notice, if you turn the bowl, sort of turn it over like that, it's almost like you're operating a mixer. That'll make it a bit easier. So once I'm at about this stage, what I want to do is add in the salt, spread that out nicely. So you don't want to add the salt at the start, because what you'll notice is you don't want to stop that yeast activity right at the start. Doesn't matter really how well this is mixed in at this stage, because what you'll notice in the next stage, what will happen is we're going to mix it in a hell of a lot better. So remember, about 19 to 20 grams of olive oil. Now, scale will help immensely. I'll try to do the conversions for you guys in teaspoons, tablespoons, etc. Okay guys, this is the bit where it gets a little tricky. Now I would recommend, if you've got a mixer, to definitely use a mixer. But if you've got nothing but haven't got a mixer, obviously you got nothing but your hand. So what you're going to do is you want to sort of lift up and turn, lift up and turn, lift up and turn. And you're going to need to do this for about 5 minutes. Oh. This is where a dough hook will come in extremely handy on your mixer. Okay guys, so we're going to do this again for 5 minutes. If your arm isn't swollen enough already, we'll be after the end of this. So you want to repeat this at least another 1 time, maybe even more, it just depends. You want to get this nice and smooth. Now I wet my hands before I go start doing this. Just makes it a little bit easier. But I'll speed this up again so you guys don't have to watch forever. Alrighty guys, that's looking pretty good already. Got a little bit of a speck of something in there, don't know what that was. That's looking pretty good already. See how smooth it is. I'm going to do it again for another 5 minutes just in case. Just remember, wet your hand a little bit and then... Oh, you can feel that's really smooth now. I probably don't even need to do this again. But I'm just going to do it for good measure. Okay. Alrighty, then after that, I'm going to pour this straight on the bench. And I'm going to let that sit there for around 10 minutes. Get as much as you can out. Let that sit there for roughly about 10 minutes. We'll come back shortly. Alrighty guys, so I've just lightly oiled a plastic Tupperware container. I find a nice rectangular one like this will come in very handy. You'll see that in a later stage, and then all you want to do, that's been resting for 10 minutes now. I just want to scrape this into there, and help if you got one of these scrapers. You don't need to have one like this, but any one of the baker's scrapers come in handy. I'm not sure if that's the official name for it, but you just want to get that in there. I usually get my partner to help me with this bit because it ends up a bit messy sometimes. Just pop that in there like that. Let's get that off that edge there. And then you want to stick that in the fridge for about 15 minutes just to cool it down and chill her a bit, make it easier. Come back shortly. Alrighty guys, 15 minutes of up. It's just to make the dough a bit easier to handle. Flip that over, it'll just fall out because you've oiled that. Right, and all you want to do, sort of bring that towards you. Oh, this is going to stick a bit. Oh, it's a bit sticky. Some people oil that down. You might want to wet your hands. Wetting your hands will make it a bit easier. See how I'm doing that, guys? Basically pulling it back towards me, gathering it up, popping it down, okay? Once you've done that a few times, just pop that straight back into the container, and then that's into the fridge for 24 hours. Hey guys, so just I wanted to talk a little bit about the flour I use. Now this is absolutely crucial to you guys getting the right result. I accidentally made the mistake of using just an all-purpose flour or another pizza flour for this. It didn't work. There was nowhere near the same level of crust and dough formation that I needed to make this recipe work. So what I actually did, I've got a, you can see that guys. For the guys that can get Caputo flour, I've found it to be awesome in my limited experience, but yeah, still good. This one's the Manitoba flour. This is a high protein flour. This is absolutely crucial for the recipe. You don't need to have Caputo flour, and I'll try to help you guys where I can in finding something that's in your area that'll work for you, just based on the protein levels. So there's usually a W number, and that will let you know whether that's going to be suitable for the job. So that's the main flour I use, and that's for 99% of the recipe. At the end though, just going to jump off camera for a second. We're going to use this other one called, you're going to have to excuse my Italian. I'm not going to even bother saying it. I'm Asian, Aussie Asian, so I have no idea how to say this in Italian, but semola is basically what it is. Rima Sonata. And that's basically just at the end. You'll see that at the end of the video. But these two are really, you don't necessarily need this one as much, but it's quite a fine ground semolina. And this is the two flours that I use to make this recipe work. Alrighty guys, so we're going to cook this mushroom topping now. You don't have to necessarily go with mushrooms, obviously. You can put whatever toppings on you like. This is my copycat recipe of a awesome pizza place in Subiaco called Delizio. And yeah, ever since I started eating it, I've been hooked, and I'll quite regularly go back there. So what I'll do, get a bit of olive oil, a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, throw some pepper in there. I've got about 600 grams of button mushrooms. I've actually mixed that up with some Swiss brown mushrooms as well. Whatever mushrooms you like, go for it. Get that around. Okay, and then I'll just chuck those in there. And I'm going to saute those off. Okay. To the side here, I've got these shimeji. I don't know if you can see that. Shimeji mushrooms. Just for something different. You can put whatever you want. Enokis, oysters, king mushrooms, whatever you want to put on there. Okay. But this is what I'm going to roll with. I've found these really good. I'll saute these off. I'll speed this up for you guys so you don't have to watch the whole lot. Okay, so we've sauteed these for a bit. Bit of a flip. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some white wine to this, guys. I suppose about a half a cup, maybe a cup. Have a play with it, see what you like. And then I'm going to add some fresh garlic. About a couple of cloves, couple of decent sized cloves. Maybe more if you like a bit of garlic. I love my garlic. Sort of stir that in. Okay. Oh, you can smell that garlic. I love garlic. Absolutely love garlic. So good. Now you're going to want to season that with salt a little bit later on, but what we want to do is maybe slow that down a bit. And slowly you want to turn that down a bit. Let those saute away there. Okay. Put a lid on. Let that slowly cook for about 5 minutes. And then what you want to do after that is you want to actually reduce the water, but I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so I've let that simmer away for around 5 minutes there. Oh, you could smell that. That's absolutely fantastic. It's all mushroomy, garlicky. Okay, just stir that around. And now what I want to do, just got some mushroom jizz on me. Just mix that around, make sure the garlic's all going through it. And then what I want to do, I'm going to add these other mushrooms now. Just want to break those up, making a mess here. Does anyone else's missus or partner get upset with the amount of mess you make in the kitchen? Okay. And then you just want to break those up. You can do that by hand beforehand. I'm just going to break those up. And slowly but surely. Now I've doubled up on these. They come in 300 gram packets where I'm from. You don't have to use these shimeji mushrooms, but I really like them and they look cool on the final pizza. And it looks like what they're using on the pizza I'm trying to copy, the Delizio mushroom trio. But I don't know how close this is to theirs as far as all the ingredients are going in. I'm not trying to do an exact copycat. This is my own version, my own take on it. But the past couple I've been doing in the past couple of weeks have been really gorgeous. Just mix that around. So you just want to make sure you get all the moisture out of those mushrooms, because if you add that to your pizza and it's still got moisture in it, you're going to end up with the soggy base. So I'm just going to stir those around. and then we'll come back shortly. Alrighty guys. Okay, so we're at a stage I'm going to turn that heat down. Most of the moisture's gone off that. You can see there's no moisture at the bottom. That's really important, guys. Now I know the original doesn't actually saute their mushrooms like this. This is my take on it. As I said, I'm not going to be an exact copy because I have no idea what they put into it, but this is my take on it. I'm going to add 50 grams of butter there. Sure, it's not probably traditional to add butter, but I love butter. Adds a bit more depth to it. Okay, just mix that through. Seeing how quickly that butter disappeared, I might actually chuck some more in, but yeah, so about 50 grams of butter there. And then I'm going to let that cool. Okay, really important to let that cool. So set yourself up for success and prep this well before time that you have to do the stuff with the pizza. Okay, so that's us there. It's all nicely mixed through. Okay, now to prep all the bases. Okay guys, so this is after 24 hours. Now my fridge is actually quite cold because I want to keep the beers cold. You see that's a bit jellyish. If you, this is where the PizzApp will come in handy in working out what temp your fridge is and how long to let it ferment in cold for. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to separate this. If I can get it to come away. I'm going to separate this into, there we go, it's starting to come down. I'm going to separate this into, not so much balls for this style. There we go. Maybe should have used a little bit more oil. You see that? Look at that. Not sure if you guys can see that. Look at the structure in that dough. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to separate this, just going to weigh this off to the side here. I'll separate this in about 450 gram portions for my size pizza tray. Now, if you, helps to have wet hands when you do this as well. Now, if you've got bigger pans, smaller pans, obviously, you're just gonna have to, oh, a bit of that hair in there. Okay, just gonna have to work it out for yourself. That's about a 600 gram ball there. Take a bit off. 495, hang on. Just get that hair on. $440. Okay, 450 grams. And you don't need to see the next bit, but I'll weigh those up and then I'll show the next bit. What you actually do, actually no, I'll go to the next bit now. What you usually do is once you got your 400 grams there, okay, remember I showed you before, where basically what you do, make a little bit of a ball out of it, and then pop that into some of that semolina, semola there. Remember me saying I had? Okay. Okay. And then we're going to pop that back into this plastic container and we're going to let that rest for around 3 to 4 hours at room temperature. Okay, we'll come back shortly. Alrighty guys, so that was the hard way of doing it. That's probably the way the pros doing it. I'm going to show you a bit of a cheats way. Probably not ideal, but get a bit of oil on there. You don't have to when you've got the semolina, because that helps it not stick. But I'm going to put that down. I reckon it adds that little extra. So we're going to cook this one in the oven, just so you guys can see it at home. Excuse the mess. Now, instead of pouring it onto the semolina, what I'm going to actually do with this one, I'm going to flip it, if I can get it to flip, straight onto that, straight onto the pan. And then what I'm going to do, same method as before, just I'm going to get a bit of that, bit of semolina, sprinkle that on top, maybe a bit more. Okay. Pull that out a bit. Just want to go too much. Stretch that out a bit. Okay. It's not looking the best over here. We can stretch that out a bit over there. Very fragile. Bit of hair there. I don't want to mess with it too much. I should do, stretch it a bit more. That's not terribly even. But that'll still come out pretty good. Okay, and then we'll stick that into an oven for about 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll check it. Come back shortly. Alrighty guys, so I've preheated this oven to about 260 degrees Celsius, so that's about 530, 550 degrees Fahrenheit. Pop that in. I'm going to check that in 5 minutes. Okay, at the 10-minute mark. Ooh, so that's looking good. Oh, excuse the steam. What I'm going to do is get that out. I'm going to chuck some toppings on it. 2 secs. Okay guys, so I'm going to stick some toppings on this. Okay, so that's at about the 10-minute mark. Stick a bit of cheese on there. Excuse the crooked shape, but I'm no pro. I'm going to be learning with you guys at the same time. Not too much cheese. Don't go nuts. Don't want to make it all soggy. Okay. Might as well put the rest on. Okay. What I'm going to do as well, Stick a bit of Vegeta on there, just to make it pop. Okay, and then I'm going to stick these mushrooms on there that I made earlier. Again, you don't want to go crazy, although I usually end up going crazy. That's probably a little crazier than I normally go. But what the heck. And then in a moment, we'll just stick that back in the oven and we'll get to it. Okay, for the last bit, I'm going to stick it straight onto the stove. For another 5 minutes. Alrighty guys, so 5 minutes is up. You can see all the crust is nicely brown now. It's gonna stick crumple some ricotta on there. Just make sure you drain the ricotta first. Stick it in stick it in a strainer. And yeah, because if you stick it on straight away from the container, what you might find is it's a bit wet. It'll make the base go all soggy, and you don't want that after all the trouble you've gone to get this nice and crispy. Okay, and then wash my hands quickly. And then stick that back in the oven and she'll come out, and then all I'll do is I'll stick some parsley on the end and she's done. I'll just even that out a bit. Cool, we'll come back shortly. Alrighty guys, and then just at the end, get some parsley. It's more for garnish than anything else, just to make it look pretty. But you want to make sure you stick that on a rack, guys. Just can't stress that enough. Otherwise she'll go all soggy on the base. But that's it guys. We'll get some after shots in a moment. You see there, look at those bubbles. That's awesome. That's gonna be so crispy and crunchy. Ooh. Alrighty guys, here we go. Let's cut this baby up. It's out of the way. That's not a knife. It's on a pizza cutter. This is a pizza cutter. Alrighty. Listen how crispy that is. Now you might want to cut this with scissors to make it. You want to take some fancy Instagram shots. I'll cut this bit with scissors. Got a nice bubble there. Jody. Sorry, that's my son in the background. Okay, let's have a look at that. Oh, I might want to cut it through the middle first before I try to pick up a whole piece. That is crunchy and crispy as. Guys, oh, bits falling off there. That's wicked. It's hard to see. I've sort of caught that in the pocket there, but look at that air bubble. Is it? Let's see if we catch it on the other side. No, I caught it on the other side of the air bubble as well. Look how crispy that is. Alright guys. All you guys want to, for some strange reason, want to see me mukbang this. Sounds weird, mukbang. That was mukbang. Alright. I'll cross to me having a bite of this in a second. Thanks guys. Alrighty guys, excuse me if I look a bit disheveled today. I've cooked some pickle relish, fried chicken for everyone for dinner, and pizza as well. So here we go. Look at that. Let me see that. Look at that air bubble. I'm not sure if you can see that. Whoa. So I'm gonna have to try and get a better camera than just playing off my iPhone here, but look at this. Oh, here we go. Oh, excuse the little hanger side of my mouth. Not sure if you can hear that, how crunchy that is. I need to get a microphone as well. Excuse me eating with my mouth full, but that is sensational. That is absolutely wicked. It's a bit different, bit of a higher level of difficulty for you guys, but I'm sure I'll be able to nail it. A couple of guys, only took me a couple of guys. Turning close up. Got reach out the back. Give me a thumbs up. That's wicked guys, alright. Please do us a massive favour. Excuse me, mouthful. Please like and subscribe to us so I can do all these other recipes for you. There's a little bell in the corner there. Just hit that and then you'll get alerted to when we've got, when I launch new videos. But that's wicked. Alright, see you for the next one guys.